the highway, enjoying the smoothness of the ride, give some thought to the iron-hooped wagon wheels, the solid rubber tires. Stagecoaches were not much fun, not even as much fun as this tricycle. The pneumatic tire changed all that and ushered in a new era of modern transportation. It's almost impossible to imagine life not in the fast lane. Fancy cars with breathtaking performance, motorcycles that'll go even faster, off-road vehicles of all shapes and sizes, trucks, trains, tractors, giant aircraft flying millions of people around the world every day. All of them rely on a very basic, very round object called the pneumatic tire, an invention inspired by a young boy on a bumpy road in 1888. For Johnny Dunlop, the uneven cobbled streets of Belfast were too much for his solid-tired tricycle. It was bumpy, uncomfortable, and almost impossible to steer. So like most young boys, he complained to his father, John Boyd Dunlop, who was a successful Belfast veterinarian. And like most fathers, he wanted to make his son's ride through life a little smoother.
Let's see if we can do something about that.
John Dunlop was born with an inquiring mind, and he had lots of practice making tools for his veterinarian business. So he went to work on Johnny's problem. It wasn't long before he came up with a crude wheel fashioned from wood, surrounded by a rubber tire inflated with air.
Johnny, come here, come look at this.
His invention passed its first test in the family's back garden with flying colors, and that was when and where the pneumatic tire was born. Today, the memory of John Boyd Dunlop and his creation are preserved at a company museum in Birmingham, England.
We just couldn't conceive of a world without the pneumatic tyre. We wouldn't get an aircraft out off the ground without pneumatic tyres or back down again. And no other goods would get moved or delivered by road without the pneumatic tyre. So maybe it's second to the invention of the wheel, but it certainly complemented it.
Dunlop's invention was greeted with considerable skepticism when it made its first public appearance at a race in June 1889. But its vehicle easily beat out the solid-tired opposition. Within months, John Dunlop set up a company to market his invention commercially.
There was obviously quite an entrepreneurial streak in him because he turned away from veterinary surgery and started this pneumatic tyre company and moved to London, where obviously he'd got a much bigger market open to him than he had in Northern Ireland.
Dunlop's early tires consisted of crude canvas strips bound or nailed around the outside of a wooden rim. The rubber inner tube used Englishman Charles Goodyear's vulcanization process invented in 1844. Meanwhile, as fate would have it, two French brothers, you'll recognize the name, the Michelin brothers, they were tired of taking a whole day to fix a tire, so they invented one with a tube that could be detached. It was when bicycle races were the rage, but in the 1891 race from Paris, Brest, and back again, only one out of 210 competitors was willing to try Michelin's new invention, and that was the one that won by 8 hours. And it was the beginning of the now famous Michelin Man. It was the Michelin brothers who were the first in the world to fit pneumatic tires to an automobile. But most drivers of the day still didn't believe the weight of their newfangled automobiles could be supported by air. They tried all kinds of complex, internally sprung wheels, but none of them produced the ride customers demanded. Finally, they settled on the inventions of Dunlop and Michelin, and thus began the golden age of motoring, with a little help from the assembly line techniques of Henry Ford. In those days, tires were made individually by craftsmen called tire builders. And those same methods are used today at Dunlop's facility at Birmingham in England, where they specialize in making the tires that keep the old-time classics rolling.
We have the equipment still available from the very early days, and we offer a full range of vintage and veteran tyres made very much using the old craftsman's techniques that were used back in the days when they were in fact the latest technology. We've updated their constructions a little, but only in the sense of using today's materials. Otherwise, they are absolutely authentic.
Albert Ford is England's last surviving tyre builder.
It's very important that the skills are passed on, because these type of cars have been going around for that many years now that they will be going on for many years to come. And with technology as it's going at the moment for producing conventional tyres, of course the skills will be lost even more.
Modern tyre development incorporates almost every modern technique known to man. From computer design to testing under extreme conditions to racetrack research. The pneumatic tyre is used on almost every type of vehicle imaginable, including the one the U.S. sent to the moon. All of this because back in 1888, a kindly and creative father decided to listen to his son.